Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the BroadBoys podcast. I'm Cade. This is Micah. I don't know what it's like for you guys at the time of recording this, but for us, it's getting cold. It's getting chilly.
Yes,
getting very chilly.
Very cold.
I went out of town, came back. It was 40 degrees colder, so that sucked.
Yep. Welcome to the Midwest.
Yeah, welcome to the Midwest. We are in the Great White North. But what comes with the cold is the festivities. It is now the last month of the entire year, which will make it about 6 months since we started this podcast.
That is true. That is pretty exciting.
That's pretty exciting for us. Mm-hmm. But what is exciting for most of everyone else is Christmas time.
Woo!
Is approaching, and then people talk about their families. People talk about what gifts they're going to give people. I'm thinking of like Over the Hedge for the PS2 right now. I don't know about you.
That's such a weird thought.
I don't know. It's like, I think it's festive.
It's kind of festive. You know, they had a holiday short for Over the Hedge.
I know. That's why I thought about it.
Oh, that makes sense.
My brain connected like dots 5 in advance right there. But what are you thinking of, Micah?
I'm thinking of Christmas movies.
Christmas movies.
You know, it's that time of the year, right?
Yes.
Mariah Carey is playing on the radio like every year.
Yep.
It's just an infinite money glitch for her.
At least she makes jokes about it now.
It's
like it's semi-entertaining for people that don't enjoy it.
It's true.
The music. But anyway, yes.
And Christmas movies come around. For some people, mine included, the Hallmark Channel was a staple of just being on all Christmas.
Yeah.
Like, if there was noise in the background, it was probably some really cringy and crappy Hallmark movie.
Okay, I'm not a connoisseur of Hallmark movies like I probably should be. Can you elaborate on what a Hallmark movie is?
Yes, a Hallmark movie generally is a low-budget romance set during a holiday. Typical tropes being some really rich guy comes to your small town, or rich girl, some of them are that way too. And they come to your small town for whatever reason, and they fall in love with the small town life. There was one I did watch that was really weird. There was a triple homicide in it.
Okay, now I'm interested. My ears have perked.
That was about as far as it went. There was a triple homicide, and they were like, oh my goodness, we knew these people. And then they hooked up. And then it went on like a normal Hallmark movie. By the end, you forgot there was a triple homicide that started it.
At the end of the movie, do they like comically catch the killer or something?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
How
amazing. How romantic.
But it's really fun because if you're really watching, you know, it's background noise. But then you look up and there's a couple times where it's cheap, right? They film it in Hollywood, but they want there to be snow on the ground. So in a lot of them, they can't afford fake snow. It's just white tarps all over the ground that they're walking on.
Yeah.
To give the impression of it being snowy.
Is that actually what it is? They don't have enough budget for fake snow.
Yes. And so if you ever get a chance, go back and watch some Hallmark movies and just take a look at what they're walking on.
Do you know even know the names of any of them?
I could not name a single Hallmark movie, and I know I have watched well over 30.
That's so impressive.
I know.
I don't know whether to be proud or disappointed. I mean, it's probably not up to you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the names are really cliche and unimportant, but...
Yeah, when I think, it's funny you mentioned Christmas movies because there was a trailer that caught my eye.
Oh?
Upon this Christmas season. It's not something I will be watching, but you might find the trailer enjoyable.
Okay.
Imagine this, a kid sits down, he writes, or I forget if it was a boy or girl, but they write a letter to Santa, but they're a kid, so obviously you make mistakes as a kid. And one of the unfortunate mistakes is that instead of Santa, they wrote Satan.
Oh, no.
So the letter...
Oh, it's a horror film.
No, it's not.
Oh.
The letter goes into the depths of hell.
Okay.
And who else but Satan, played by Jack Black,
oh, okay,
picks up the letter and goes to the kid. And that's as much as about the movie as I know. But I got to give it up to Jack Black. He's playing all the roles anyone could ever want to play. He's playing Steve and Satan in the same year period.
Oh, the Minecraft movie is going to be something else. Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
It'll be something. So, I want to ask, what's your favorite childhood Christmas film? Like something that you always wanted to watch when Christmas time came around.
Christmas Vacation with
National Lampoon Christmas Vacation. That is a great movie.
It's a great movie.
I am a huge fan of the Polar Express.
You like the Polar Express?
I love the Polar Express. I love how Tom Hanks is 70% of the cast.
There's a lot of weirdness with that movie.
There's a lot of weirdness, but if you know the train scene on the ice,
skidding on the ice.
Yes,
I mean that's pretty cool.
Yes,
the movie creeped me out now that I'm remembering it. Like the guy with the conductor, and he's like clipping the wire onto the tickets. I'm like, you can't do that as a kid. It's like, what's this guy doing?
The only part that really creeped me out every time was the puppet master scene where he goes to the train full of puppets and stuff. Mm-hmm. That creeped me out.
I didn't like the hot chocolate scene either. There's like all the dancing.
The hot chocolate scene.
And it's the hot chocolate and it all dances around and finds them. I don't know. That didn't resonate with me as a kid.
Dude.
Unfortunately.
But it's hot chocolate.
Oh, I like hot chocolate. I don't think that had anything to do with it. Ugh. I just didn't like that scene. I didn't like most of the characters now I'm thinking about it.
Well, yeah, the children characters were not enjoyable.
Was the brat guy? And he sounds like this. And he's like, hey, you know, we're going to see Santa.
Yeah.
I forget. Man, who played that?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of Christmas movies.
Jim Carrey's How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
I didn't watch that one.
You didn't?
No, I don't think I have. But I mean, I watched A Christmas Story, Christmas Vacation. Oh, what's the one where it's Jamie Lee Curtis and it's the Cramps Christmas or whatever?
Oh, yeah.
That's been a newer one that I've been watching every year.
Krampus?
No, not Krampus. That's a different kind of movie.
It is.
But it's about like this old couple that's like, oh, we don't need to do Christmas anymore, and then they end up doing Christmas. So,
oh, interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something about it. Now I don't know. I don't like Christmas movies as much as I used to.
Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
I don't know, man. Don't ask me. I'm not the rule maker. I'm not the judge on Christmas.
It takes place during Christmas.
Sure, yes. And there are many like Christmas themes, I suppose.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to turn on for the family on Christmas Day, though?
Yes, Die Hard is a Christmas movie, and I'll be watching it with my children.
Okay. Okay, man.
What other Christmas movies are big? Home Alone. Home Alone 2.
Home Alone's a Christmas movie. I forgot about that.
Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, starring
Donald
Trump.
Donald Trump.
Yep. Home Alone 3, which had someone else in it, I think, and Home Alone 4, which had another character.
Yeah.
That's all kind of irrelevant, but they did make 4 of them and a spinoff.
I think holidays are kind of underutilized by movies and video games.
I think that's such an interesting take because a part of me is like they're overutilized.
Well, let me take a step back.
Yeah.
So I think the people that do go into the holiday stuff it's not the right resources, is what I should say. I think there could be some great stuff made. Like, no one's making a Christmas Story now. It's all gimmick movies like, oh, we write a letter to Satan instead of Santa. Mm-hmm. Or it's like, here's an action Christmas film. It's all low to mid budget. Yeah. I think, maybe someone should try to make another Christmas classic.
Like A Christmas Carol? Or are you talking more like a Christmas classic, like in the way like National Lampoon is a Christmas classic?
I think just a heartwarming, just Christmas story that you can see being played like 20, 30 years from now.
Interesting.
Because I feel like those aren't made anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or I don't like to admit this, but I did see Wicked.
Oh, yeah? Did you like it?
No.
Oh, no.
We could get into musicals later, but...
I know you're not a musical guy.
Yeah, but we'll get into it.
Okay.
But, and my wife on the way back was like, oh, didn't they remake The Wizard of Oz? I'm like, no. Why would they? They probably have in like a cartoon version, but not like live action.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't think there's a live
they've
action.
They've done prequel
remake.
After prequel, but not like a remake like Disney's doing with like Snow White and their other animated movies. It's like The Wizard of Oz is The Wizard of Oz. Same thing with Frosty the Snowman, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Just like a lot of these Christmas classics. I mean, A Christmas Story. There technically was a sequel thing made for A Christmas Story.
Yeah,
I might have watched it, but it was, if I did, it didn't stick out obviously because I don't remember it. But nothing's new has been made that's like, oh, Let's capture the Christmas magic. The last Christmas classic that was made was Elf.
Yeah, and that was 2004.
Yeah, that's my belief.
I don't strictly disagree with you. I think there are people who would I can't think of what it's called. There's one that came out in like 2020 that I know a lot of people swear by.
2020.
Yeah.
Really?
And it's called
Wow. What a great movie title.
That one.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, what about the Santa Claus series?
The Santa Claus?
Yeah, the Santa Claus. This one. It's called The Christmas Chronicles on Netflix.
Never seen that one.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just closed-minded. Maybe I'm just not opening up to all the Christmas stuff.
Maybe, but there's a lot of people who swear by that one, like for sure.
Yeah.
Or see, now I'm looking and I'm like, man, there are some. There's this animated film called Klaus.
Nope, haven't seen that one.
That one came out in 2019. Really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
Is it an anime movie?
It's an animated movie.
Well, is it an action movie?
Sort of. If I remember correctly, it's about a postman who goes with Santa Claus.
Okay. Well, then maybe I should take a look this season at some
you should
fresh Christmas material.
You could sit with your family, have a nice cup of hot cocoa, and watch some newer Christmas stuff.
I definitely could.
But on the whole, it is pretty crap, and I do agree with that.
And that's what I'm saying. Is like, and what about other holidays?
I think there's a lot of Halloween.
Yes, I think Halloween is fine. I think we're good with Halloween.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But
Thanksgiving was like a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago.
Well, everyone complains about the Christmas songs, but the only reason why the Christmas songs get played so early is that there's no
Thanksgiving songs.
Thanksgiving songs, exactly.
Man, I don't even know what a good Thanksgiving song would be.
Well, I think the difference with Thanksgiving is there's not like a universal, or I say universal, but like a very common way that people celebrate Thanksgiving.
That's true. Like
Christmas, most people do the Christmas tree.
Mm-hmm.
Most people do gifts.
Mm-hmm.
Most people do blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, you're like, you sit and you eat, right?
Yeah, that's true.
But some people do the wishbone.
Mm-hmm.
Some people do like, I don't know, anything.
There are a lot of places around the world that don't even do Thanksgiving because it is very much a American holiday.
That also might be an aspect, is that you can't really get it international. It would basically just be American listeners.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, if they make a good enough banger, it could be international.
I think, they could do some... See, I feel like if you do Thanksgiving, it has to be something campy, though, right? Like
it would have to be something about family.
Yeah, like, I guess the difference is there's a difference between a movie that takes place during Christmas and then a Christmas movie, right? Mm-hmm. Like, there are certain Christmas themes that have to be apparent in the film, right?
Yeah.
So for, like, Thanksgiving, right, I know that there are a couple of period dramas that really go into the aspect of, like, your family all has different beliefs and you sit around a table for Thanksgiving. Whatever.
Like that one episode in The Bear.
Like that one episode in The Bear. And then someone drives a car through your wall.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I think if you're a movie maker, there's no way you would make a Thanksgiving movie. No. Because most of the themes you would have in your movie would be easily transferred to Christmas.
Yep.
And then you can get it everywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
So
unless it's campy.
Unless it's campy. Like Rise of the Killer Turkeys. That's pretty good, though.
That is pretty good, though.
That's pretty good. I think, there's a lot of good, bad stuff surrounding it. But yeah, holidays, I think games, I think there could be some Christmas games made.
I agree.
Period. Like that end of sentence.
Yeah, just period. I'm trying to think of any Christmas games I know of.
That's like not a small indie project or a little gimmick game, So,
yeah.
I can't think of anything.
I can't think of anything either. If you have a Christmas game that isn't just like a game version of some movie, please let us know. I would love to hear about it.
Yeah, because like Christmas in video games for me is like most of my Christmases were spent playing whatever game I got for 8 hours.
Yeah.
In fact, even the most recent example I can think about that is when Persona 5 came out. I played that game literally 11 hours from when I got it out of the box to when, it was past dinner time.
The first game I remember binging hard after a Christmas that I got, like the actual game, right? Was Empire Total War on PC. I got that and I immediately installed it and I played it all night.
Yep, exactly.
Good memories. Good game.
I mean, when you don't have anything to do the next day, it's like...
It's true.
It's great.
I know. You have
great.
Christmas Day and then the day after is just like...
Well, I'm talking about Christmas Day. On Christmas Day, I was rocking 10
Oh,
11 hours.
sorry. Yeah, you have Christmas Eve for the people who open gifts on Christmas Eve.
I don't open gifts on Christmas Eve.
And then you have Christmas morning for the people who open gifts then. And then you have a whole day of just like... What do you do?
You'd have Christmas morning and then you're done. You're chilling.
Bing chilling.
Unless you got other family
commitments. Unless you do family traditions and stuff, but that's overrated.
You should be playing video games the rest of the day, and why would you let anyone else tell you otherwise? It's your life. You take it by the nuts and you toss it to the side, and you're like, you're doing what I want to do. I am going to be playing.
Spinning straight facts. Grab your Christmas by the nuts and do what you want with it.
I'm just saying, why are you letting other people tell you how to spend your Christmas day?
I know. Your parents want to play Monopoly? Say no.
Sorry, Mom and Dad. I got another Crab's Treasure to play. Black Ops 6 just came out, Mother.
Mother,
Dark matter is not going to acquire itself. I must now reside in the lower chambers for the rest of the day. I mean, it could be you. Why are you letting it be different?
It's true.
It doesn't have to be a game. It could be anything.
I know. You got a movie? Go watch your movie.
Go watch the Lord of the Rings trilogy director.
Go watch the entire trilogy on Christmas Day. That one is a family thing. Get your family involved.
I will not be partaking in that tradition, if you can imagine. But.
Well, maybe I have to start it.
Okay.
Christmas Day.
Christmas Day, you're going to knock down my door and force me to watch the entire director's cut of Lord of the Rings.
Yes, sir.
I haven't, it's been strange because more and more I've been getting this feeling that I am missing something.
You are.
But I haven't really felt that the entire time, but now I'm getting to the point where it's like, I probably should watch it.
You really should. I think you should.
I probably should, shouldn't I?
Yes. I'll watch it with you.
That doesn't help. I love you, man. That does not help me.
Here, hear me out, okay? We can get a bunch of people together. We can all sit and enjoy watching it. I'll even mix drinks. I'll make little finger snacks. It'll be good.
You're going through a lot of effort to make sure I watch The Lord of the Rings.
I feel like it is something everybody must watch.
Must watch.
Yes. I think it is a classic. Mm-hmm. If you are into fantasy at all, Lord of the Rings is a must watch.
Okay. Completely off topic.
Okay.
Completely off topic. But this is BroadBoys. I want to talk about something completely different that we've never talked about.
Yes.
All the music stuff, we're around the time. It's the beginning of December, mind you, and all the raps are coming out. Spotify rap, Apple Music.
Yes.
Am I crazy for thinking that it should not be at the beginning of December? It should be a reflection of the entire year.
I've thought about that. Like, why does it come out now and not like December 20th or something? You know? Mm-hmm. Like, I understand people... Well, then again, why not just release it on New Year's? Make it a thing. Release it on New Year's because December is so many minutes you can still listen.
Yeah.
And at least according to the Wrapped, they're calculating it from January on. So there's like a whole month of minutes that isn't totaled.
I'm just saying, man. All right, maybe think about this. You get a pre-wrap, so you see what your top 5 and top 10 are going to be, and then
you can try and change it.
Exactly. People do that anyway.
I know.
All the people that had Drake on their top 5 are scratching them out on their stories anyway. So why, give them a chance to change it?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. It's weird. I also think I was thinking about this too. I think the music listening app should also do achievements because we were talking about achievements last week. I was like, I think more things should do achievements.
I think Spotify having like a listener score would be so cool. It'd be so fun.
It'd be fun. Eventually it would feel like Snap Score to me, and it would feel meaningless.
That's true.
But if there was like achievements where it's like, listen to this whole album in one session, or listen to this genre a certain amount of minutes, and you get a medal for 1,000, 10,000 minutes, and just like you can display, and you can, when you share your profile with friends, and you can see your different badges, and for like different artists, you could get a badge for being in their top 0.5 listeners or something like that. Because that's what people share
I
anyway
know.
with their Wrapped. And that's what people are doing. People are sharing the achievements from the Wrapped.
I
So
know,
even
but
when you go outside
just
the
let me
gaming
display
sphere,
it, right?
even when you go outside the gaming sphere, people love achievements.
I agree.
I think it like cemented it in my mind that the little like achievement things that everything does in some capacity, just like that's what people love and they want to share it. So why not just make it, just go into it more? It'd be more fun.
I 100% agree with you. Bring more achievements to life. I want my life gamified.
I want achievements when I go to Costco.
I want Costco achievements.
I want Costco achievements.
You have bought this many peppermint bars.
Well, I'm just saying, if I'm like 5 points away from like a Costco gold medal or something like that, I'm going to look at that heated vest and be like, well,
I get my gold medal. You know?
Exactly. And you have your Costco.
Shoot, Costco. Where are my points at, man?
Dude, you get a medal for buying one of their gold bars.
Yeah, give me a little plaque, right? Let me hang something.
I'm just saying.
It won't cost you a whole lot. I guarantee you I've spent more than whatever that plaque's going to cost.
I know, it's crazy. You should get a medal for each Costco hot dog combo you buy.
Dude.
Or you buy 100.
Buy 100 hot dog combos, you get a little.
All right, that would
plaque.
go crazy. I think Costco would see a surge in sales.
I think they would
if
too.
that happened, because then it would be a meme and then everyone would do it. More things just need achievements.
I agree.
They just, more things just need
Yeah,
achievements.
if I buy 100 hot dog combos, I want a little golden glizzy that I can put on my desk.
Or even better, you can put on your membership card.
You can have a little golden glizzy on your membership card.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Think about it. If you and then you could partner with the Costco guys. You could get a little boom medal right on your thing for like spending like $10,000 at Costco. And it's like you get the boom medal.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we see more of this going forward as like Gen Z starts growing into the marketplace.
Well, my thing is they're already implementing all the dark patterns,
yeah.
but in all the like morally wrong ways. If you're gonna do that, at least add the achievements. Add the not exactly profitable stuff, but you know, the things that make it more fun to socialize about it.
I agree.
Because even though I think achievements are still technically a dark pattern.
Well, of course they are.
It is still technically a dark pattern.
It's a dopamine rush.
But why do they only put the bad ones in? Give me achievements for my glizzies.
That's true. That's true. I think life should be more like a gotcha game.
Life is a gotcha game. I mean, what do you mean? It's like the more money you have to do 10 pulls, the more 5 stars you get.
Exactly. But I want it to be more physical. I want to go into a Costco, have a giant wheel that I give them $10 to spin. And most of the time, I get nothing but a firm handshake. But I have the chance of winning a Costco TV.
You know they do this like already. They're called giveaways.
No. But I mean,
but you want it physically there as a wheel.
I want it physically there as a wheel that I can spin.
Would you do that if you went into the Costco
I might,
right now?
I might buy a single spin and just try it.
No, you wouldn't. Your wife would not let you do that.
Depends on how much it was. If it was like a $10 spin, I might spin it.
I would spin it too.
Yeah, I know you would. That's what I'm saying.
I would spin it too. I can't lie. I would spin it
like
too.
this video if you would spin the wheel.
If you would spin the Costco wheel. But I'm thinking about other stuff. You know, all these food chains have apps too.
Yeah.
They don't do achievements. They do points where you get like rewards from it.
I know.
I'm just saying, have medals. People like the medals.
People like
McDonald's, do a Grimace medal. Do the Grimace Shake medal. You already leaned into it. Lean into it more.
I know. I completely agree.
We're so smart.
We are.
And I was less smart in 2017, however.
What a segue.
I know. I couldn't think of anything else. There's more stuff I'm sure that could have achievements.
I'm sure. I'm sure there is. Okay.
But 2017.
But we want to talk about Game of the Year for 2017.
Now, I am a firm believer that 2017 was one of the best years in gaming we've ever seen. Just straight up, just like...
That's a bold choice.
It is not that bold. I think many people would have that opinion.
Oh.
And when you read the list, you're going to be like, oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Okay, yeah. Well, let's go with The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Yep.
Which I love to dunk on.
Yeah. I mean, that one.
That one, yeah.
That one from The Game Awards.
Mm-hmm.
The Game Awards.
Game Awards. Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. Horizon Zero Dawn. Which is getting a remaster for some reason.
Isn't it came already out or something?
Yeah,
like
I think it's already out. That's so odd. It came out in 2017.
Okay, Last of Us fan talking about unnecessary remasters.
What do you mean? Last of Us getting a remaster. That game came out in... It was like freaking 12 years.
But Part 2 remastered?
Part 2 remaster, I think, is crazy. Part 2 remaster should not exist. Super Mario Odyssey, Injustice 2, Nier Automata, Hellblade.
The Hellblade one.
Senua's Sacrifice. There we go.
Yep.
Little Nightmares. What Remains of Edith Finch.
Yep.
Which is really good. Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus. Cuphead. Love Cuphead. Prey. Love Prey. Assassin's Creed Origins. Don't love it.
Don't love that one.
The Evil Within 2.
That's a good game.
South Park. The Fractured Butthole. Splatoon 2. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I'm still playing that.
Yep.
Middle Earth Shadow of War, the sequel to Shadow of Mordor, which was really good. Destiny 2. Mass Effect Andromeda. Metroid Samus Returns.
That's good
I'm
game.
just going to keep reading. For Honor.
I did play For Honor when it came out, and I played it a lot when it came out.
I played it quite a bit when it came out, too. My brother actually still plays For Honor on occasion. Total War Warhammer 2. I've played that quite a bit. XCOM 2, the DLC War of the Chosen.
Another,
which was
it's
really good. Really good. The sequel to Life is Strange Before the Storm. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. One of my favorite indie games of absolute all-time, Hollow Knight, came out. You're right. Maybe you're right.
Persona 5.
Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I'm not there yet. But I think you're right. Doki Doki Literature Club. Dishonored, Death of the Outsider, Sniper Elite 4, Codemasters Dirt 4. Was Persona 5 actually?
Persona 5 came out in March of 2017. It was a Game of the Year nominee, which is insane that a Shin Megami Tensei game that was before Persona 5, no one even knew what Persona was, and it was up there for Game of the Year nominees with Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, Horizon Zero Dawn. It was up there with all the big hitters.
Released in Japan September 2016, worldwide April of 2017. You're right.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well,
the best year in gaming, I think, so far.
Well, I think I know you're going to pick Persona 5 already. Sorry. Our British friends chose What Remains of Edith Finch.
They wanted to be quirky, man.
They really did want to be quirky.
It's a good game. Great game. Great story.
I think the game's fine.
Great story. Great game.
Yeah, well, you know what won the Famitsu Awards in Japan?
Monster Hunter Worlds 2018. Monster Hunter Generations or something like that.
Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Oh, that makes sense.
Along with Dragon Quest 11.
11 came out this year too? Oh my gosh, I forgot about that one. I'm so sorry. Dragon Quest fans.
But
was it Dragon Quest 11 S Echoes of an Elusive Age though?
No. It's just Dragon Quest 11.
Yeah.
Yep. But as we know from watching the Game Awards, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild was picked. Which I don't like that pick.
You don't like that pick?
I don't like that pick.
Okay.
Here, you tell me some of the things you were thinking of, and I'm gonna look at what was nominated.
Well, just off the top of my head, the games that I love off of this list that are probably not as popular would be Xenoblade 2 and Persona 5. Xenoblade 2 is typically seen as the worst in the Xenoblade trilogy, but it's my personal favorite. A reason why people didn't like it is because a lot of the characters had what did you call it? Fan service, I suppose. And there was a gacha mechanic in it. Not that you pay real money, but there are these characters you could unlock that you would need to roll certain items for. But I thought all the characters had really good side quests, and they were super fun to fill out their charts. And the side quests felt like good side quests, like we've mentioned before. You know, they felt fulfilling, and They had good stories, and they actually made your characters better. So it was incentivized to do it.
Okay, so you don't want to know what was nominated in 2017?
Hit me with it.
PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, PUBG.
Yeah, PUBG.
Persona 5.
You didn't even list PUBG, did you?
PUBG technically came out right at the end of 2016, but I'm sure that's why they included it in 2017.
But I have beef with that because they didn't include Smash Ultimate.
I don't know, man.
So I don't know what's going on with that.
I don't know. Persona 5, Horizon Zero Dawn, Super Mario Odyssey, and Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I don't know about some of these picks. I don't know why PUBG would have been nominated. That seems a little weird to me. A little
that
wacky.
seems weird to me too.
Yeah.
Just from the list that we've read, I think Resident Evil 7 got a little snub there.
Yeah.
I think that should have taken PUBG's spot personally.
I would agree. The most awarded game this year was Cuphead.
Most awarded game.
Yep.
I mean, it deserves it in spades for sure.
Oh, I 100% agree. If I'm not mistaken, Hollow Knight didn't really get any awards this year.
So Hollow Knight was a game that when it released, it was a cult following. This is my experience, but I think this is generally how it's perceived as well. But I could be proven wrong. Generally, when it came out in 2017, it had a cult following, but it was really 2018, 2019 when it really kind of started blowing up and everyone started playing it. And then you had the Silk Song teaser in who knows how long ago at this point.
6 years? 7 years?
I think
Something.
it was something. It's something crazy at this point.
Yeah.
So we keep ignoring it, and then eventually maybe it'll come out. So we'll have to see. But I mean, indie games, just huge win for indie games this year. Because you had Hollow Knight, and Cuphead, and What Remains of Edith Finch, and I know that there's more that I'm forgetting, but it's just insane how good indie games were this year. Everyone was winning. If you were a fan of anything, you were winning.
Yes, absolutely. Especially with announcements like you were going to get Red Dead Redemption 2. There was a Last of Us Part 2 coming out. You know, all of these big announcements.
Yeah. And Sekiro was announced at this point, I believe. So if you're a FromSoft fan, you're like, oh, what is this? Something new?
Yeah. And so this was a big year.
And if you're a Monster Hunter fan, Monster Hunter World was announced. And that, oh, man. It is like 2017 for announcements and games coming out, where it's like...
It was a big year. I you know, we're living in 2024, right? I'm looking at 2024 and I'm like, this is a big year in games as well.
This year? I don't feel that way.
Really?
No.
Because I think we've talked about the type of games that have come out. I don't really like all the nominations, but there's a lot of moving and shaking. But we can get to that in a second. Looking at 2017, I think Breath of the Wild is the wrong pick.
What would you pick instead of it? Or just name some things that would be over it in your opinion.
Yeah, I really like Horizon Zero Dawn.
Okay.
I think Persona 5 is a great game. I think Hollow Knight or Cuphead could have been up there.
That's true. If we're, I think indie games still weren't being seen as much as they should have been.
I think if Balatro wins this year, it could blow the whole thing open.
Oh, I think so too. I mean, I think we're still going into Game of the Year this year being like, oh, Balatro isn't going to win because it's an indie game. Yeah. And that's what I felt about every single indie nominee. Like, period.
But there's a chance. There's a chance. Balatro's big.
Balatro's super big. Especially now it's been nominated. More people than ever are playing it.
I know.
I was looking at the Steam chart. I'm like, what the heck?
It's one of the most played games on Steam right now.
I know. It's so
consistently top 10 for the last couple of weeks.
Well, because they don't lose players. You just keep playing it over and over again. You can't stop playing it.
I know. So, there's the part of me as a massive Hollow Knight fan that I want to say, well, Hollow Knight as just a game, right? The hindsight as a game could have gotten it, but I would pick Cuphead over Hollow Knight, I think.
See, this one's actually tougher for me than you might think, because Persona 5 is like in my top 3 games of all time. But I do think when I view that top 10 in my head, that's like that, because that's what it's how it affected me personally. Yeah, and my experiences with it. Yeah. I don't think it really should have won Game of the Year this year.
That's fair.
I don't think Persona 5 should have won. Now it's like my favorite RPG. Yeah. Period. But I don't know. I think Odyssey should have been the actual pick. That's my take. Now, I think Breath of the Wild is fine for a pick because I don't like. How do I? The way that Breath of the Wild kind of like shifted Nintendo as a company.
I don't disagree with you that Breath of the Wild did things for Nintendo
and for gaming. Now, not all the effects are positive.
I think Breath of the Wild. I think Breath of the Wild, at least to me, Breath of the Wild is the epitome of like a 7 on a game. I think it does what it does well. I just don't think it does enough. I think
what does it need to do? What does it need to do?
I think I've talked about this. Like Tears of the Kingdom, I think is much better than Breath of the Wild.
Okay.
I think Breath of the Wild felt very empty. I liked the story. Like I said, everything I think they did was good, if not better than good, right? Mm-hmm. It's just as a game, as an open world game, your open world felt very unalive, except for a very couple things. It's like the issue that a lot of people had with Starfield when it came out.
Okay.
You have an open world, but there's so much dead space.
Yeah, but that's the whole theme of the game, though, is that it's Breath of the Wild, not Breath of the Towns.
No, I know.
It's like all the villages are supposed to be super small. Of passerby is a big event, and you go talk to them because you're like, hey, a person.
But look at Red Dead Redemption 2. That's an open world where you have towns spattered around, right? And there's a lot of territory that's open. But there's things to do when you're out.
There's things to do in Breath of the Wild as well. There's the town you can rebuild from scratch.
Okay, but that's not the outer wild part. I'm talking about the transit between locations.
Oh, well, then yeah, you got mini bosses, you got shrines, you got was it the picture things? I forget what it is. It's been a while since I played.
No, I know there was stuff to do, but it wasn't like Tears of the Kingdom where I think Tears of the Kingdom just really fixed it with travel. Because there was a lot of open space, but you now had a way to creatively get through it more efficiently.
I think you're underestimating the encounters that were the enemy encounters.
Maybe. I mean,
and they specifically made the weapon breaking system so the enemy encounters were more strategic. That was a very divisive thing when the game came out. Was like, oh, the weapons break. That's annoying. Yeah. But it made you actually think about the combat, and it made you have to manage your resources in a Zelda game, which is like crazy.
I know. I guess I just really like Tears of the Kingdom a lot more than Breath of the Wild.
That's a perfectly fine opinion to have.
And I think Cuphead was better.
Cuphead being better than Breath of the Wild, I can't be mad at that. I like Cuphead.
Yeah.
But I do think you're wrong. I do think that is a generally wrong opinion to have. I think that Breath of the Wild was... all right, let's say more deserving of Game of the Year than better.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think it goes along with that. But, that's just how it is.
Okay. But you said Mario Odyssey.
I did. I think that Mario Odyssey is... all right, here's why I like Mario. I think Mario Odyssey is a better game because of the movement. Because as you know, I've talked about this with Elden Ring versus Dark Souls. Yeah. But I like I think the tighter level design is better for a game than open world. Now, I'm just not the biggest open world guy because I feel like it turns into a Skittle game a lot of the time. Far Cry is the biggest example of this. Yep. The side objectives do not matter at all. Or Assassin's Creed is another huge example of this. There's Skittles. You throw it on the mini map, and then you go there, and then that's it. And then you go to the next Skittle. So that's the whole point of those side objectives. I don't feel like that was Breath of the Wild. I don't feel like Breath of the Wild had Skittles. But I do think that tighter level design is better than just open world overall.
I agree with that. I agree.
And I think the capture system was insanely creative. Like I think we take it for granted. Like I remember seeing that card, I'm like, what the frick? That's like insane.
Yeah.
And you're capturing and you're becoming all these enemies, and not just enemies. You become Bowser. You become a cactus. You become a tree. You know. It's
I really like Odyssey. I think Odyssey's a good choice. I can't be mad at that. I don't like the Breath of the Wild pick. I am absolutely happy with a Mario Odyssey pick. I think Cuphead was snubbed for not even being selected.
Yeah, I think Cuphead and Hollow Knight were both snubbed. So, that's just the state of indie games at this time.
I know. So personal pick, I think I would pick Cuphead for this year.
And I would pick Mario Odyssey, as much as it pains me to not say Persona 5.
And I'm happy with both of those choices. So,
but I can't be mad at Breath of the Wild. I think Breath of the Wild is a perfectly reasonable pick for anyone. I think you can't really be mad at them.
I mean,
I don't even think you can say that they're wrong.
I think they're wrong.
How can you say that they're wrong?
I told you the reason I think they're wrong.
No, but how can you say that that's like that's the wrong choice? Like, but they've made decisions where you're like, why did they choose that? That game's right there. Yes. With Breath of the Wild, there's just like, that makes sense why they chose that. I
think a nomination is fine, right?
A nomination is fine.
I think a nomination is fine, but even like personally, I think Horizon Zero Dawn did open world better than Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Like that one for sure, because there's scope and there's scale and it feels, an encounter feels, because they're hard and they're impactful on the world, because if you kill something really big, it's no longer there.
You want some of my hater energy?
Sure.
I think Horizon as a series is kind of an industry plant. No, I think the first game is not a part of that. Mm-hmm. But after the first game, they were like, oh, we're going to use this and then just spread it everywhere. And I don't think it gets the sales to get any of it.
I don't like any of the sequels. I don't like any of the spin-offs. I am just a big fan of the first game. And that's about it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's all I have to say on that. I think Horizon Zero Dawn is better open world than Breath of the Wild. I'm not saying Breath of the Wild is a worse game than Horizon Zero Dawn. I just think it does open world better.
No. I will say, just in general, about Breath of the Wild, it did do something that did make me sad, in that it kind of transitioned traditional Zelda games away from consoles. Mm-hmm. So, and I think this is a complaint you hear from older Zelda fans at this point, but it's like the traditional dungeons are not really a thing anymore. The items that are your main power-up / stuff you get, like, items don't feel like impactful anymore. Music, the way that they do music is wonderful and beautiful and atmospheric and all that, but I don't know, I just love the melodic just overtures a lot better.
Linear dungeons, I think the reason why a lot of people are, I know the reason why a lot of people are nostalgic for them, right? You grew up playing them. But linear dungeons were really only there because of a limitation in the power of PCs and game engines.
Okay, well, I don't even care about the linearness of the actual dungeons. I'm thinking of like the theme of the dungeons, because...
Well, yeah, I think there's been something lost in the creative design there, but I would not want to go back to a traditional Zelda dungeon layout, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Because the reason why they existed in that format is because they couldn't process them. I think
but they're still done really well, and they're still a good time, and they're still...
No, I think that's fair. I think we just need to go beyond that in a sense, right? If they make a game with traditional dungeon layouts like that, they will only appease classical gamers. I
doubt it. I sincerely doubt it. If they have good level design...
Well, but I think good level design these days is much more complex than it used to be.
No, I don't think so. Because then you're telling me that...
I think if you remastered the game 1-to-1 just with updated graphics and controls, people would not buy it or see it as fondly.
I don't think you're right.
I think I am.
I'm trying to... Well, they haven't remastered a game since Breath of the Wild came out. So I can't say for certain. But...
There's a ghost in our studio.
I see that. We're haunted now.
I know.
But... That's weird. But in general, like, well, because it's not just the linear level design; it's the entire dungeon is focused around an item. So you typically go through half the dungeon without this item, then you get the item, and then you interact with the dungeon in completely new ways now that you have the item.
Yeah,
so you don't get that anymore. It's just you have a gimmick that you interact with, but it's just for that dungeon. It's not like an item that you keep going forward. the dungeons built around the gimmick in the way. Well, the gimmick for, Breath of the Wild is you hit the button on the touchscreen and the water goes up.
No, I completely agree. I think creativity has gone down because of a lack of limitation, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so if you have the limitations, you're able to get more creative, and I feel like that gets a product that is
we've just set the bar lower, right? We just shouldn't accept games with limited creativity.
That's fine. I think that's fine. If making a game with non-linear dungeons with the themes and the mechanics and stuff like that, that's fine. But in the same way, I think when you get on the linear path, kind of like Dark Souls 3 level design, you can like fine tune the experience so much better.
Yeah.
And where the level design, if it's peak level design and you've got like amazing puzzles, a great item, that it's focused around. I think it'd be very popular, and I think it'd be.
I should clarify. I'm not strictly opposed to linear level design. I'm more opposed to how it was done in classic games.
Can you give me an example?
Zelda, the couple original ones,
like on the NES,
everything pre Majora's Mask.
Okay, I'm not advocating for that to come back.
No, but that's kind of what I'm saying. Is that sort of level design, if it was remastered 1-to-1 today, would not be popular.
No, I agree with you.
And so I think that I think we have a lack of creativity in dungeon design because they don't have to be creative, if that makes sense. So we need to raise the standard for games that gamers purchase, right? You shouldn't. This goes back to the color coding puzzles thing that I talked about way back in a different episode, where we have sort of sacrificed the ability to think when we play a puzzle game
for accessibility. Yeah. Okay, that's not. I think we're having two different conversations here.
I think it's all a part of the same conversation. We're just not focusing on the same part.
Because when I'm not talking about NES dungeons, because those are all the same dungeon, just with different room layouts. Link to the Past, I would say, is a bit better, but is very similar.
Yeah.
Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, it was the layout that I'm talking about. It's linear, but it's crafted and fine-tuned for a really good experience with good puzzles, good optional puzzles, stuff like that. So that's if they made a sequel to Majora's Mask, they released it for the Switch with the same kind of dungeons, the same level design. I think it would be. Yeah. I think people would be like, "Oh, this is what we were missing. This is what we needed."
I think Nintendo is fully capable of bringing back complex and in-depth level design. I think they'd be too afraid to do it because of accessibility.
Yeah, I think I will agree with you on that, because even with the newest Zelda, Echoes of Wisdom, which was a completely new game, they, instead of going for the Titan crafted level design, they went for, let's give you this tool, which you can copy anything, so you can solve puzzles in any way you want.
Yeah,
which is fine, but then you can be the player that just uses one thing to solve everything.
Yep.
Which a lot of people will do. I mean, if I get lazy, I'll do it too.
Yep.
So if you don't, again, it's sacrificing like, oh, we're gonna give you, and it's a cool tool. It's a good gimmick. Don't get me wrong. And I haven't played the game, so I can't say like.
Yep.
I can't say with absolute certainty, but I was seeing clips of like people solving puzzles in the same room like 10 different ways, which is super cool. But then you're like, well, then when you're designing that, you can't design it with one thing in mind.
Yeah, you have to design it with people's unlimited imagination,
which can be cool, but then because of that, you can't make the puzzle that hard.
Yes.
Because if it requires a specific thing, then the game becomes you're shuffling through your 50 options until you find the right one that works for that specific thing.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm not going to say accessibility has killed puzzle games, but I'm going to get very close to saying it and say accessibility has crippled puzzle games.
The Witness, I think, is a game that goes against this full stop. Witness is one of the least accessible games I can think of. You get thrown right in.
Yep.
It's hard as balls.
Yep.
At least it was for me when I first played. but I would say it's generally a harder puzzle game.
Okay.
But because of that, each puzzle you solve feels super significant.
Yep.
When you beat the game, you're like, holy crap, I beat the witness.
Yep.
You know, and that's like something that I can use to compare with my friends. Like, have you beaten the witness? Have you beaten the witness? It's like, oh yeah, I haven't beaten the witness yet. I'm like, yeah, that's the thing you can say. You can't be like, oh, did you solve the first dungeon in Echoes of Wisdom? And they're like, you fool, we've all done it. You know,
Yeah.
so because there's no standard.
Mm-hmm.
You know, same with Dark Souls versus Elden Ring.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have so much freedom in Elden Ring, I think it's less impressive if you beat Godric because you can go wherever you want and you're not like...
Yeah. Well, I think Elden Ring changed that with like how fast did you beat Godric or what level did you beat him at?
Yes.
You know,
Yeah,
people
exactly.
still found a way to compare. But.
Yes, exactly. Or it's like, oh, you don't have a standard for where you're at when you fight Godric.
Yes.
You can be level 90, you can be level 10 when you fight him.
Yep.
So that's kind of what I'm getting at.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
I think it would benefit if because the thing is, AAA studios are going bigger, they're going more open, they're going whatever. I think, maybe make a main series game, kind of like Astrobot, kind of focuses on the level design and, some core mechanics that plays around in its level design.
Well, what happened to, family games where it was puzzles, right? Where like you had to bring your whole family together and, you sat down and you tried to solve a puzzle in a video game, right? Like that, Nintendo was big on that for a while.
With what game? Sorry,
I'm super blanking on what it is called.
A family puzzle game.
Well, no, it was a Mario game, but you were solving world stage puzzles.
Captain Toad Treasure Tracker.
Don't pick names. I can't remember. So let's pass on that topic.
Okay.
But
I was like,
the idea that there can be mainstream games where you are solving puzzles has existed in the past, and it really should come back because The Witness, I just looked it up, is a game that came out in 2016. Mm-hmm. So like it's been a while since I think we've had a true, I don't want to say non-accessible, right? Because these things should be accessible to people.
Challenging.
Yeah.
Because, I think of Portal 2 co-op mode, too. Like that was a co-op puzzle game, but it was still... It was still hard in some places.
Yeah, and that was 2014, 2013. Yeah. Like, we haven't had...
The latest thing I can think of is the We Were Here series. If you don't know the We Were Here series, it's... I believe it's just on Steam.
Yeah.
But the whole gimmick is it's you and a friend, and you leave Discord. You're just talking through the game, and you have walkie-talkies, and each of you are in a different place, and you use each other's knowledge to solve your own puzzles. So I think that was fun, and that had some. I'll say challenging because I'm not going to say tough, but I'm going to say challenging.
But that's also indie.
Yes,
I think there have been indie games that do this, and I think that's fine. But the Game Awards literally has a whole thing for most accessible game, right? And if you want to get...
Where's the least accessible game award? Where's I want the hardest game award.
Like, I just want games that are brutally honest, where if you're bad at the game, you're bad at the game, right? If you aren't thinking... Like, I want a game where if I'm going to get into it, I need to be thinking and ready to get it done, right? Mm-hmm. There are plenty of puzzle games. I can't think of what that train game is where you have to get your train unstuck. That was really big on Twitch for a while. Or like Fodian games. Like there are challenging games that are out there. Games. But the mainstream just like...
It's triple... I mean, if you're a AAA studio, you're like, why would I cut off my audience by making... Why would I put all these resources into a game that like half of the people are just going to play the first level and give up? Mm-hmm. Because it's not about the art.
No,
it's not about the art anymore. It's about the money.
And if FromSoft's owner, I can't remember their name, sells to Sony, it's not gonna be about the art anymore. It's gonna be about the friggin' money.
Yeah, and when Steam's owner dies, Gaben.
Yeah, then Steam's gonna go corporate.
I think Steam's gonna go down the drain immediately.
Steam is literally one of those last bastions of like hopeful success. Because there's no law that's going to regulate these things. Steam just released their new publisher agreement where publishers have to detail what's coming out in season passes. And if any part of a season pass is not released, they have to refund an equal amount or the entire season pass for not getting your promises out. And Steam's going to hold them to that. That makes no money for Steam, right? That is strictly a check on publishers and is good for gamer consumers.
That's going away as soon as he's gone.
And that's what I'm saying is like Steam is one of those last bastions simply because it's run by a guy who did it all just for the love of the game, right? And once he dies, if he doesn't have a successor in place to take it, it's just going to go all those corporate junkies who wants to just make more money off of it.
We're going to see Portal 3, Half-Life 3, and all these games immediately.
Yep, and they're going to be bad.
But we're also going to see like Steam losing a lot of its discount rates, I think. And we're also going to see a lot of like the transparency between devs and consumers go, or at least the accountability on the dev side, go down. So let's just give a little gush about Steam. I just bought some stuff on the Steam sales. I love Steam sales.
The fall sale. Yeah.
I used to go a lot crazier on the Steam sales, but now I have like 600 games in my library, so I needed to calm down.
Yeah, I think what I've been doing a lot of is just collecting like DLCs and stuff for a lot of the games I have, and then I'm going to go back and replay them with the DLCs.
Though I will say a couple highlights. The Tomb Raider series.
Yes.
$10.
I know, for all of them.
Everything.
I know.
From the Tomb Raider trilogy, the newer one. Including DLCs, including every cosmetic. I picked that up.
Yeah.
I picked that up. What other games did I buy? I bought Psychonauts 2, which was $6 versus $60. So I picked that up. And then I bought this game called Live Alive, which is an RPG I've been eyeing for a long time and waiting for it to go on sale. It was originally Switch exclusive, I believe, and then it came out on PC. So I bought it for $20.
Yeah.
It's originally $50, but I figure that's the lowest it's going to get.
I held myself back this sale because I was looking at my library and I'm like, the games I'd want to buy are like 4 years old. They're going to go on sale during the next sale anyway. And I kind of have other stuff that's literally in my next to play list.
Yeah, and I mean, typically, the Christmas and summer sales are the big sales.
Yes.
The autumn and spring ones are like,
And this Christmas break, I did myself a favor. I've got 2 weeks off work.
Wow.
I know. I'm
just completely off?
2 full weeks just off work.
Man.
And
we do so much content.
We could do so much content. I am going to finish Black Myth Wukong and the Elden Ring DLC.
Oh, really?
Yes.
You're going to start closing.
Yes, I'm going to close off those games because they're taking up space in my library. They're both over 100 gigs. And I'm like, I just need to finish them and shut them down because I'm close.
Well, we will see. We'll check back in January.
I will be a closer. I will close.
And if you don't, I get to rag on you a lot more on it.
I know. Other news, I've finished all the side content in Subnautica. Now I just got to finish the story and I'll have all those achievements done.
Oh, wow.
So I'm basically like 3 or 4 hours away.
Man, I guess I'll talk about this. So I've talked about retro achievements. I think I literally talked about it last week. I have been trying to 100% Super Mario Bros.
Yeah.
On the NES.
Okay.
It is crazy. Did you just L me?
No, I did not.
Did you just L me?
No.
Oh my! Listen, it's like the authors know how to make a lot of different kinds of achievements. There's your standard achievements that you just get by playing.
Yep.
There's the fun ones you gotta go out of your way for.
Yep.
The hard ones, or the ones you're like, oh, I never thought about playing this way. And then you got like the how do you do this? The specific ones called Master Treasure Hunter, where you have to get a certain amount of coins in a world without dying. I needed to look up the treasure spots for this game because there's so many hidden blocks and so many whatever. But I am super enjoying myself. It's literally been Super Mario Bros. For the NES, and Black Ops 6 has been my time the past week in Thanksgiving. It's just been... But I just wanted to test that. I have been following up on the retro achievement stuff, and I've been trying to 100% a game. It's been hard, but it's been really fun.
That's good.
And I think it's It's mainly because it's an NES game. But I want to go back. I want to do some Mario 64, and I want to do a lot of games. To be honest, I want to do some GameCube games like Wind Waker.
Yeah, I mean, full send, man.
Melee has 436 achievements. I don't think I'm getting all those. Mario Party 6, 199.
Well, I mean, from honestly, party games, it's just like, of course there's an achievement for all these things, right? Why not beat every map with every character? And
well, so those are usually like completionist subsets where that's not the standard thing.
Okay.
Usually the standard sets are pretty normal. Mario Party 4, 5, and 7 all have around 50. Mario Party 6 is like, beat it on this map. Beat it with the lead of 5 stars or more. Beat it being down 5 stars by the last 5 turns and then still win.
It sounds like you need to play a lot of really quick games.
Yeah, well, they have stipulations on them.
Oh, of course they do.
So I'm not going for Mario Party 6. I'm not going for Melee. And I've been trying to think. I might do God of War for the PS2.
You should. I think it would be very gratifying for you to play the God of War series.
I know, but then I was also looking at Final Fantasy 3 or 6. It's a game I've played before, and it'd take a long time.
Yeah.
But I really like Final Fantasy 6.
That's fair. I mean, there's been a part of me that's like, what if I just played all the Final Fantasy games?
I think you should.
I've thought about it.
I don't know if you should start with 1.
Yeah.
That might kill your mood.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about just starting with 7 because why not start with 7?
Yeah, I would say 7's a great choice. You can start with 7. Really, 7, 8, or 9 are great.
7's in our shared library, so might as well.
And 15.
Yeah.
I like 15 a lot. If you want to kind of like go modern and then regress back, 15's a great. I have 16 as well, but we've talked about 16.
Yeah.
I wouldn't suggest that as the starting point because I don't think it's really a Final Fantasy game. Neither is 15 really, but it's more than 16.
That's fair.
6 through 9, great options.
Yeah.
Or 13 even. That's a controversial opinion.
That is. I've heard that is, yeah.
But I would say you can do 13.
Okay.
Or 10. Final Fantasy 10 for the PS2.
I would need to hook up an emulator. But
illegal activity.
Technically legal activity.
Yeah, with your own rip of Final Fantasy 10 that you have.
That I have, yeah, for the PlayStation 2.
Exactly.
Yep.
So never mind. I apologize.
It is very technically legal here.
Yeah. Just like I'm apologizing for this episode ending right now. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, follow us on social media, listen to everything we do, track us on Life 360, and all that other stuff. Thank you. Have a great day. See ya.
Bye-bye.